welcome to Shazza's Laughter Hour here at Radio Northern Beaches 88.7 and 90.3 FM. And I have a very special guest in here tonight. He's my old mate from around 20 years ago. It's the legendary Sydney stand-up comedian Peter Meisel.
Hi Sharon, how are you? Legendary. See, people listening to this going, I never heard of him. Not a really great legend.
They will know you after this interview and sure. Adore you as I do and everyone else does in the Sydney comedy scene.
Now that I'm close to death at this age, there's no competition because they go, well, even if he gets some work, he won't be doing it much longer.
No, that's it. Well, that's reassuring, isn't it, for everyone? And such a nice way to start the interview.
Yes.
So Peter Meisel, legendary perhaps or not, stand-up comedian and former teacher, very loving granddad and fantastic husband to his marvellous wife Jan.
What's her name? Sorry. Oh, Jan.
Yeah.
That's
remember
right.
her?
Yes, I do. I do vaguely remember her.
And originally you're from my favourite part of the USA, New York City.
It's my favourite part of the USA too.
Yeah.
But I've been here longer than you.
Longer than me. So
I think I've been here 42 years.
So you're actually a citizen now, so they can't really kick you out.
They cannot kick me out. I'm a dual citizenship.
Yes.
So that's right.
That would come in handy.
Well, so far, if because of my age, if Trump is elected in 2020, which I hope not, I will renounce my citizenship.
Oh, okay, and you'll just stay here permanently.
Because I'm not paying taxes in two countries, but no, I'm not paying taxes in America, but I have to pay an accountant, so I'll just get rid of it.
Oh, okay.
I'm definitely here for good.
Yes,
definitely.
Yeah. You've been here, 30 years?
42 years.
42 years.
I just said that you're not even listening to my podcast. No. Wonderful.
Well,
I have this effect on women.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just my eyes glazed over and I just stared out the window of the studio. Anyway.
Part of my legendary.
Yeah. So what part of New York City were you born into?
I grew up in Manhattan. I grew up in a place called Stuyvesant Town, which I think maybe in the year 2005 sold the whole area. It was 110 buildings in Stuyvesant Town and Peter Cooper Village. And it sold in 2005 for $5.5 billion.
Good grief.
Yeah, that's right. It's the largest real estate history. It's the largest real estate deal in the history of the world. And yeah, that's where I grew up, and it was built by Metropolitan Life Insurance for returning veterans. And there lived about, I think, 35,000 to 40,000 people. And that's in a 2.5 square mile, because I don't know what it is in kilometers there, 2.5 square mile area, and everybody was white.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And were they predominantly people who were immigrating from other countries at that time?
No, returning servicemen mostly, which my dad was one of. He's also an immigrant, but he was returning servicemen. So a lot of the dads had served in World War II.
Oh, okay.
It opened, I think Stuyvesant first opened in 1947. So yeah, and it's lovely. I mean, I could not afford to live there now.
No.
Because it's now considered
prime real estate.
Prime real estate, absolutely. Yeah. So there are still people there, moms of some of the kids I grew up with, who still have their old apartments.
My goodness.
They have been given not compensation. They don't have to pay the new rents. They still have the old deal, which is really good.
So do a lot of people in New York City, or at least in that area, live in the same apartment forever, like a rent-controlled apartment?
Well, this wasn't rent control. This was just a special deal made because there's so many people. So to be fair to the older people, they said, "All right, look, we'll give you a good deal. They're not going to be around that much longer."
No,
I don't mean that in a bad way.
No.
But I mean, my friend's mother, a couple of one's 93 and one's 92. So, how long do they have? I don't know. I hope a long time, but I'm not. And the thing is, one of them.
We wish them well, of course.
We wish them well.
Yeah, and their digestion.
Mother still has the same phone number that she had in 1967.
That's amazing.
It is amazing,
yeah.
except instead of the letters, they now use numbers.
Yeah, that's
OR7 2019.
I remember an old episode of Sex and the City when Carrie threw out her mobile phone and then she bought a new one and she had to go with this new mobile phone number code, and she was absolutely horrified because she wanted to have the same phone number code. And I guess with someone who's older, it would be very comforting to know that you could have the same phone number your whole life.
Yeah, literally since 1947.
That's amazing.
Oh my God, that is amazing.
That is amazing.
Frightening. But
And did you enjoy the winters in New York City? Because it's something I love. I love snow and I really love cold weather.
When I was a kid, loved it because you think about it, because they had snow days.
Yeah.
Those of you in Australia, it gets really cold and these white flakes fall down and cover the ground. So they would have school days, not so much because the kids couldn't get there, because as you all know, we used to walk in 9 feet of snow every day to get to school.
That's right.
Even in summer.
In your bare feet.
In our bare feet. But teachers couldn't make it from different parts of the city. So think about this. So you have a snow day. And you're 8 years old. So instead of going to school, the worst place you could possibly be, you're now in the best place you could possibly be, riding your sleds, throwing snowball fights, building snow. It was fantastic. Popping popcorn. It was fantastic.
Oh, that would have been fun.
It was great. The worst to the best.
Oh, did you have siblings, Peter?
I did not.
No. So you just played a lot on your own?
No,
Or
the neighborhood,
friends?
110 buildings. With there was never a shortage of. On my floor, there were 8 apartments.
Yeah.
So next door was Victor, and then they moved down. Then Larry moved in, and then
was that Larry David?
I wish. No, Larry fell.
Yeah.
And there were all sorts of jokes. Because I had another friend named Mitchell Office, so the joke was Larry fell into Mitchell's orifice. Hilarious. When you're 12 years old, that's a scream.
Yeah.
And in apartment 3, so I was in 3A, he was in 3B. In apartment 3H were the Bernstein girls, of which you've made friends with.
I have.
Who's now Karen Webster. So you've made friends with her, and so it was great. So that was just one floor alone where I had a bunch of friends. And on 7th floor was Jeffrey, and in the next building, which you could get through a carriage room, was Warren Antler and Rhonda Rossoff. It was you were never without kids. You went to the playground, there was always somebody to play with.
That sounds like a real sense of community.
Oh, it was. Actually, several communities. It's the only place I know of, because I used to hang out at, first the playground 1 until I got beat up by a gang, and then I moved to playground, then I changed and hung out at playground 10. It's the only place in the world that I can think of where you go to somebody, oh, you're from Stuyvesant Town, what playground, not what address, not what building are you in, what playground did you hang out at?
Really?
Yes.
That sounds wonderful. It sounds like no one could have been really lonely or...
It was impossible to be lonely. You could never get your own time.
No, it's almost the opposite. You were craving some time by yourself.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. And what about summers? How did you keep cool in a hot New York City summer?
Well, there was also, you see, the neighborhood now, those apartment buildings are air conditioned.
Yeah.
When we were kids, there were 2 sections. There was Stuyvesant Town, which was the lower middle class, and then there was Peter Cooper, which was the upper middle class. Peter Cooper had air conditioning. When they put the wiring in for Stuyvesant Town in 1947, it wasn't powerful enough to have everybody having an air conditioner.
Oh.
So the summers were those really hot days you get here.
Yeah.
It was horrific those days. So at nighttime, because there were all these, as I say, 110 brick buildings, they would absorb the heat, and during the night, they would just let off that heat. So it never got better. So you get 2 or 3 nights a summer which are unbearable. I knew people who took their families to hotels because they were air conditioned.
Oh, really?
And one of the great things, you would go into a store and you just hang out there because it was air conditioned.
Oh, no, it's a real relief when you do that in
it just
summer.
hits you beautifully, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't go home and get air conditioning.
Yeah. I think I read somewhere once that a statistic had that, I don't know if this is before 9/11 in particular, but in the very hot heat waves in New York City, the crime rate would go up. And you think, no wonder, because everyone gets so annoyed when it's hot and you can't get out of it and you just want to punch someone's head in.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, the riots that took place in New York in 1967, I believe, those were on very hot days.
Yes.
Because, you get irritable.
You
absolutely get irritable.
Yeah.
And you have every reason to be generally angry. A lot, the African American community had every reason to be angry with the system.
Yes.
I mean, say they couldn't even live in my neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when it's hot, you could just see things sparking things off.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had riots. Do you know how many cities with a population of 1 million or more did not have riots in the 60s? None. Every single one with a population of 1 million or more had riots.
Did you ever go to the Hamptons to go for a swim, or were you able to do that, hop on a bus with your folks to go and cool off?
We went, when I was a kid, my parents and I and different families would go to Long Beach, which had waves. That was really nice.
Yeah.
They had
Is that the Atlantic?
That is the Atlantic.
Yes, the Atlantic.
They had boardwalks, just like you see on TV, with different games, and I guess sort of like the Easter show here.
Yeah.
But you had different,
With
and I
surf.
loved it. So you had the best. You had the beach and water, and then you had the boardwalk where you'd eat and play games.
They
Again,
have
as
a
kid.
hot dog and whatnot?
A hot dog. Well, the best hot dogs were at Coney Island. Nathan's Hot Dogs, the original.
Oh,
were
are they still
fabulous.
there?
They are still
So
there,
if
and they've
you-
spread their other shops.
So if you go to Coney Island, everyone, take it from Peter Meisel, go and get a Nathan's hot dog.
Oh, yeah, but you can get Nathan's Hot Dogs at Times Square.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't have to go that far
You
then.
don't have to go that far
Just
if you're
pop
in
out the
Manhattan.
door from your hotel.
However, if you're in Brooklyn.
Did you ever go to Florida for holidays with the folks? Was that ever on the, or was that more when you retire?
No, that again. When I was a kid, you went. This is where we went every 2 weeks. Every year for 2 weeks, we usually went to somewhere in the Catskill Mountains. Did you hear
Okay.
about where all the comedians, did their shticks? Guys like Buddy Hackett.
Oh,
and
yes.
all
Yeah,
of these
yeah.
guys performed there. Then, as airfares became cheaper, and this is why a lot of the places in the Catskills died, like Grossinger's and Concord, they all sort of died. So people started flying to Florida for the summer for 2 week
okay.
holidays.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
parents
yeah.
did that.
And then some never came back.
And then it was sort of like...
Let's move here.
Yeah, if you couldn't afford to move to Jerusalem...
Come
my
on,
parents-
Morty.
yeah, come on
Let's
down
move down to Florida. Okay.
The best part of my summer vacations when I reached like 17, 18, 19, so forth, was when my parents went to Florida for 2 weeks.
Oh.
And I had a New York apartment all to myself.
Oh, my goodness.
It was
That sounds
great,
very exciting.
Yes.
And always quite glamorous, too.
Quite glamorous, yes.
Yeah. So at what point did you start watching stand-up? Was that while you were growing up in the city? Or get involved with comedy? Or did you just appreciate it?
I appreciate it. I didn't do comedy until I came out here, although I have performed in New York.
Yeah.
But I always loved doing it. I always wanted to do it. By the way, kids, if you want to do comedy, do it early if you can.
Yeah.
Don't do what I did. I waited till I was like in my 40s to start.
Yeah.
You'd watch him on TV. There'd always be some comedian on the Ed Sullivan Show, like Frank Gorshin, who played the Riddler on Batman, and George Carlin. All sorts of Alan King, some really great comics. And yeah, I really did appreciate how funny they were.
And then when you moved out here, you decided to perhaps pursue it a little bit more as an option to high school teaching, wasn't it?
Primary school teaching. I waited 15 years.
You waited 15 years to become a...
To comic. I
comic.
always want to do... I emceed a couple of weddings for friends of mine.
Yeah.
And I got laughs and then became a laugh whore.
Yeah. Became addicted to it.
It is.
So were you a high school teacher?
Primary school teacher.
Primary school teacher in the US before you moved to Australia, or you were doing that?
I spent a year doing casual teaching, as they call it. It was called substitute teaching.
Yeah.
In Connecticut, in Hartford, around the Hartford, Connecticut area.
Yeah. That's a nice... I like the New England area. I think it's
Beautiful.
very attractive. I've been there in the fall.
Yes, that's the time to go.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Up in the mountains, and I've been to Vermont and up in the winter months too, which is really beautiful. But the fall is quite spectacular.
Amazing! It's one of the. There are a few places you can't, I think, take proper photography of really to get the whole picture. Grand Canyon's one of them. Great Barrier Reef is another.
Yeah.
And I think autumn in New England is another, because it's just so expansive. You can take a bunch of pictures, but it's hard to capture it in a single picture.
Can't quite get it because it is quite spectacular. So you say autumn or fall now?
Oh, good question.
Or can you say either?
What season?
Depending
it's
on
summer, fall.
Have you
I think here it's just autumn, isn't it?
It is just autumn, but what have you gotten used to saying autumn rather than fall?
I don't know.
Yeah. Because when
When
I was over there in fall and I'd say autumn and people would look at me like I was speaking a strange language. I go, in Australia we say autumn rather than fall.
I'm going to have to figure it out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow is fall.
Technically speaking, it is.
Yeah.
In Australia, it is. But I would say the first few weeks of our fall, autumn, are usually quite warm. It's like the last tendrils of summer try and just capture us and just make us feel really hot and uncomfortable for the whole time. And then, poof, suddenly it's cold.
Well, we used to call them, and I guess now that you wouldn't, they were called, you had that happen in America when fall was still warm, you called it Indian summer.
Yes.
Now,
which
why...
may be politically incorrect to say that.
Guess.
I don't even know what it means, but yeah, you can't really put anything there than saying anything, really.
Right.
Like you can't really say Mexican wave anymore because it's just a wave.
It's just a wave,
But I don't know how that became
Mexican
called.
wave.
It was Mexican, but you wouldn't really want to say that anymore because you
That's
don't
a
want to
very good
offend.
point.
You don't want to offend anyone, just in case.
Yeah.
Best not to.
I get right. Safety.
Yeah. Yeah, safety in numbers. And so you moved to Australia and you settled in Sydney. Was that the only part of Australia you wanted to live in, or had you been living in other areas of Sydney?
No. There was no. I can't. I signed a contract to teach in the New South Wales schools, and depending where they send me, that's where I had to live. But they sent me to the Green Valley area in the west. So I lived in Sydney suburbs. Cabramatta was the first place I lived in, and that was in 1976. But I thought, I'm only here for 2 years, so we'll live in this unit flat. It was flat then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like a holiday work visa or something?
No, we actually had
visa.
we actually had permanent residence.
Oh, okay.
It was a really good deal. We had permanent residence. The department paid us to fly out here. If you stay 2 years, we'll pay for a flight back.
That's pretty good. That's better than going and joining the military, really. You get to leave.
A lot of things are better than joining the military.
Yeah. And so you worked here, and then you had a crack at doing stand-up. You decided to have a go at that.
1991.
Yeah, and you were pretty much hooked.
On the third try, when it went well, it took me 3 gigs to have what I'd call a reasonably good gig.
Yeah.
And then I was hooked.
Yeah. And so in Australia, who were some of the favourite comedians or comedians you admire that you used to see back then, or that you see now, who you think are extraordinarily talented or have inspired you to keep going in the comedy arena?
Back then and
Peter
now. Peter Berner, who's
of course,
still
he's the burner,
brilliant.
isn't he? Can't go past that.
Now, I enjoyed Ostentatious.
Yeah.
That Australiana. I mean, people mock it now, but it was brilliant.
He trailblazed
for that.
Yeah.
Who else I liked back then? Oh, I always wanted to do it, so went to the Comedy Store on Jameson Street, and Gary Hu was the MC, and he was just killing it. And I thought, no, I couldn't do this. So because he was so good, it put me off for years.
A reverse effect rather than encouraging you.
Yeah, no.
You went, well, that's the standard. Forget that.
Yeah,
I don't have that.
No, I watch other. Like I'm working with Peter Berner on Friday.
Oh, really? That's terrific. Yeah.
And when I used to see him, when we used to work together at the old Harold Park Hotel, other comics would go, someday I want to be just like him, and my reaction was, why do I bother? And I'm not sure that's actually changed.
Why do you bother?
Why do I bother?
That's it. Yeah. I know. Some people have just got it, haven't they?
Yeah.
And they really, it just flows out of them like a nice diarrhea or something. It can't be stopped.
Right.
And we're talking.
Can I just point out that you don't have a laugh, you have a cackle?
Yeah, I know. It's part of my charm. And we're still speaking with, if you've just joined us on Shazza's Laughter Hour here at Radio Northern Beaches, my very special guest is legendary Sydney comedian, originally from New York City, Peter Meisel. Thanks, Peter. And tell me, Peter, what sort of things do you like to do to relax or keep fit? Because you look like you're pretty fit.
Okay, try and say that now without laughing.
Because you've got to look after yourself if you're working nights and...
I am perfectly happy not to do anything.
Okay.
I mean, I love doing comedy, except when I have to get out of my pajamas and actually go and do it.
That's
but
it.
once I'm there, I love it. I thrive in it. If it's a good night, and there may be one or two of those a year, when I drive home, it is the best feeling ever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I am perfectly happy to just turn over in bed so I don't get bed sores.
That's just roll him over.
Just roll, yeah. No, I've now, again, I keep harping on the A. I am perfect, and I know actually a lot of younger people, you know what, it's just too hard to go out sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to go out to dinner with friends. I'm glad we had a nice dinner
We
tonight.
had
It
a
was
very
wonderful.
nice, yes,
And
nice
anytime you want to
catch
do
up,
that,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And I like that.
Yes.
Other than that, not too much. People
Do
annoy
you have
me.
a swimming pool at your home?
I
Do you ever swim or just...
The pool
Not really?
is just big enough to give you the shits.
Yeah.
And you can't do laps.
It is.
just
It's
enough.
like a rockery, isn't it?
It's
almost like a large pond.
It is. It's
You
beautiful
could walk up
looking.
and down it.
It's kidney shaped. It's
Yeah,
got a
yeah.
lovely
Put some
little
goldfish in
waterfall.
it, perhaps.
But don't bother swimming in it.
No,
It's
no.
just not worth it.
You're
It's
not
good for the
getting any.
grandkids.
You're not getting any laps done.
No.
Let's put it that way.
But yes, do have a swimming pool. If Jan and I, my wife Jan, we've talked about if we ever get another house ever, it will not have a pool.
No, there's a lot of work.
It's
So
a
unless
lot
you
of work.
use them all the time and constantly, it's really probably not really worthwhile having, eh?
Yeah, but on a positive note, they're really expensive to maintain.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Is yours chlorinated or salt water?
That's the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was different.
No, it's it's chlorinated, which makes salt water pool that makes its own chlorine if you put.
I know chlorine can tend to make a blonde head more green than a saltwater pool can.
Yeah. When you're partially bald, that's not really
That
an
does
issue.
not, yeah, you don't worry about that. And tell me, do you ever? I know you're in a bushlandy sort of area.
Yes.
And in the summer months, you've had some training with the local rural fire brigade, haven't you?
Not only training,
Are you a fire warden?
I am a fire something or other.
Yeah.
And this was kind of disturbing. We were given. I mean, we were trained well. I really know how to do this.
Yeah.
But we were given fire people's uniforms, and like my jacket I think is extra large, my shirt is large, my pants are small. I'm like one of those little children's puzzles where you mix and match pictures. Yeah, I felt like a freak. Anyway, we did have a fire, I think 2003, 2004.
Oh, okay.
Where we actually were there with the hoses against the bush.
Oh, gosh.
It was the last time I think I ever felt awake, because the fires came roaring up the valley.
Yeah.
And we saved houses. I couldn't
That's
believe
amazing.
it. is amazing. I would have been the second person to run.
Yeah,
I didn't want to
yeah.
be the first one, but if
No,
anybody
no.
else had made a break for it, I was. And that's the only time in the 27 years of comedy, I've missed a show because the road
You literally couldn't
was
get
closed.
out.
Could literally not get out.
You could have been burnt.
No,
badly.
it was they just shut down
Oh.
so fire engines could get through
Well,
and
that's
stuff
a
like
good
that.
excuse anyway.
Yeah, so
I can't
that-
get there, sorry.
Yeah,
Call someone
sorry.
else.
Yeah, I'm on fire.
I'm on fire, currently on fire, and maybe getting hotter. Yeah. So I remember you saying you had to do some training in that. It was quite exciting. And,
Every year we train.
oh,
We have
it's
one
it's
training
like a
meeting.
muster station, and you all get there.
Just to remember, I don't know what to do.
correct
What do you do?
procedures.
Yeah.
And did you have to learn basic first aid as well,
No.
or just to do with
Just to
fire
put a-
safety by the firefighters?
What the different equipment, how to use the equipment.
And
how to
did
hook
any
up
of them
things.
look like the fellows that are in the firefighters' calendars?
Why do you ask?
Oh, I
no.
just thought I'd ask.
No, these are
I just thought I'd ask.
These are just neighborhood.
Just
a
the
fire engine
neighborhood.
come by, but
Yeah,
most
yeah,
is
yeah,
just
yeah.
because there are a lot of these red boxes.
Oh,
and the
okay.
neighborhood, we've all been trained. We all come out.
Is it like Halloween but with hoses?
Somebody else made it, but somebody referred to us that we like the equivalent of the Keystone Cops.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
No, we save the
You
neighborhood.
actually do things.
Yeah.
You've had your training.
And we got, I mean, because it is the bush, we had an echidna stay at our house, not in the house, in the yard. We didn't invite it, just came.
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
had a kangaroo with a wallaby with a joey living there. We didn't even know because it was sort of in one of the areas we never go to. We call it the outside.
Yeah.
But
You're not welcome out there.
yeah, so that was interesting.
Yeah. So you are in a beautiful part of Sydney, the
It's lovely.
bushlandy area.
When it's not on fire, when I'm not
When
on
it's
my
not a
roof
fire.
waving to a helicopter, it's lovely.
And what else do you like to do, Pete? Do you go and see movies or?
Rarely, I'd like
Rarely,
to.
yeah.
We talk about it. Jan and I go.
Do you take you have some grandchildren.
I have 6 grandsons.
Do
yes.
they go to the movies or anything
We
like that?
haven't taken any for a while.
No.
More than one is, as am I, ADHD. So
It's hard to sit around.
sit around
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
movie
yeah.
because I get bored, and that seems to make
That's
them
it.
bored. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm okay, and it's different movies. Yeah, I don't want to see the movies they see.
No.
I really don't.
No.
Paddington Bear, I hear is brilliant, but I really didn't want to see it.
No. That's it. There's been a lot of good children's films.
Yeah.
But get them on DVD and watch them.
That's
later
right,
or
and then we can
whatever.
watch it over a 3-day period.
That's it. And so, how's your general health, Peter? As you do stand up, and you're retired from teaching now, aren't you?
Oh, since '94.
And you had your hip, or was it your knee done?
That's right.
A couple of years ago, just to make yourself more mobile and more comfortable.
I had my hip done
Tell
in
the viewers,
1994.
the listeners, all about that.
In 1994, I had my hip done.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Well, I used to jog because I used to actually do stuff.
Okay.
I used to jog, so that's affected my hip, I think.
Okay.
So in 1994, they replaced it. It's supposed to last about 10 to 15 years, but what they don't tell you, that's only if you do something.
Oh.
So I've had it now for 24 years, and it's fine. It's one of the very
as you
few
don't
parts that
move
doesn't
around
hurt.
much.
If you don't do anything, it doesn't wear out.
Oh, okay. So
And
don't
then-
start doing cross-country skiing or slalom or shalom or what is that skiing one when they come down?
Slalom.
Yeah. I knew it was something with an S.
Yeah, I don't do that.
No, don't do that.
No, and ski jumping, stuff like no.
No.
So, and then 2 years ago, I had my knee replacement, and this is good because, I hope it's good because the doctor said the knee will last for the rest of your life. And I'm thinking, oh, it lasts for a really long time. Maybe I just didn't look well. maybe in a couple of years. It's only going to last 2 or 3 years, but don't worry about that. You're not going to be with us.
So has that helped your mobility? And
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Oh,
you
man.
recommend that surgery if you need it?
Yeah, if anybody wants to
Did
get
you
in touch
try
with
anything else like supplements,
Everything else.
glucosamine
Yes,
and chondroitin
yes,
and
yes.
fish oil and blah, blah,
I
blah,
still
blah?
take fish oil.
Yeah.
But all of that.
Stretching
Yes.
just didn't quite do enough.
Cortisone.
Yeah.
Chiropractic, physio, blah, blah, blah. No, once it's bone on bone. And by the way, I don't know if you listeners can get in touch with you. But
Yeah,
if
they
can,
sure can.
Okay. If they
they
want a
want.
good, I mean, really, I know this, everyone says this, I have the best knee doctor in the world. He invented this type of knee,
Procedure.
the one that
Yeah,
will
yeah.
not the procedure, but this type of knee, the next level up, the one that lasts forever if you
Yeah.
look old and sick. No,
so,
he's great.
So any listeners, if you're very interested in finding out the details of the best knee doctor in Australia,
Yeah, and he works
please
out-
get in touch through the Shazza's Laughter Hour Facebook page or through Twitter and Instagram, and we'll be sure to pass on that information to you.
Yeah, and he's at Cogra, and he does his work at St. George Private Hospital.
Yeah, so you'd be travelling out of the Northern Beaches region, but you would be probably
worth it.
worthwhile
And
to
you'll be able to walk home.
have a recommendation. And yes, you can walk home over the bridge and enjoy the view while you're doing it.
And the food is, I mean, this is terrible. Maybe I don't eat at good restaurants, but the food at the hospital was great. And if the doctor permits it, you're allowed to have wine there
My goodness me.
Yes.
Even like after surgery.
after surgery.
That's one way to recover, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, Pete, do you have any more trips to the USA planned for a while? Are you staying put in Australia for the next couple of years?
I'm loath to go when Trump is president.
Just
However,
for the moment, yeah.
Yeah, but I would like to. I spend my 65th birthday in the playground I played in Stuyvesant Town, as I was saying earlier,
Yes.
that I did as a kid. And I'd like to spend my 70th birthday in the same. I can still throw an American football pretty well.
Yeah.
And sure, my shoulders hurts the next day. And I really feel bad for the guys who are also my age who are running to catch the passes. But because, we have a great time. The next day is painful.
Yeah. So you're
But that's what
planning
I do
on
then.
going back at least?
Thinking about it.
Thinking about it,
Yeah.
I mean, just go for a short time. Would you visit any other parts of the US? Do you have any fond memories of other areas of the US that you would particularly like to go to? Because from Australia, the jumping off point is usually LA,
Yeah.
and then you get a connecting flight,
That's
unless
correct.
you fly to Honolulu, and then you can get a connecting flight from Honolulu to New York and other areas.
Well, I was thinking, because would be my 70th birthday, to go with Jan and do one of those stop at 7 or 8 different cities around the world.
Yeah. That
She's
would
from
be
London,
tremendous.
and she hasn't been back. She hasn't been to London since 1967.
Oh well, it's changed a bit, I think.
I believe so. There's a Ferris wheel you can go on now.
There is a Ferris wheel, and that shows you everything, really.
Yes.
Almost don't need to do anything else. Just hop on that and go home.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Well, I think that sounds like a tremendous trip. And what kind of American sports do you enjoy? Do you like watch any of it?
I do.
To catch up?
That was one of the things. One of the things that used to. I understand why. I used to go. I never really got into cricket.
No.
Although I do like the Big Bash.
Yeah. It's a kind of a fun and exciting version of the longer cricket matches, isn't it? The Big Bash.
Test cricket, to this day, I don't get. I mean,
It's
every highlight reel shows a ball.
It's quite long.
Shows a ball chasing away seagulls.
Yes.
And you know why they do that?
Yeah.
Because that is a highlight.
Yeah.
But so I never got into that. One day a little bit, but I love baseball, not just for the game.
I enjoy baseball too. When I was in Canada in 2014 and the US the following year, I just got right into baseball. I thought it was a very good game.
But from my point of view, it's also the historical perspective.
Yeah.
You know, Jackie Robinson, the first African American. It's just.
There's a lot of heroes of the sport and history.
Yeah, history. You see the prism of history through the baseball.
Yeah.
And I like American football, although I feel bad watching it because of the brain damage. I feel bad watching it, and I tried not to most of the games because of Kaepernick, the guy who did the kneeling. He couldn't. He's a great quarterback, maybe not the best, but there are 99 quarterbacks in. I think it's literally 99 quarterbacks in professional football. He would certainly be in the top third, but because he initiated this kneeling, my belief is nobody would give him another job, which I think is a real shame. And he's a decent human being. He gives money to charity. He's just a good guy. So I found that, and again the concussions, I found it hard to support. A friend of mine, also a comic, he said, and he was a huge Minnesota Viking fan, and he said, and he had memorable stuff.
Something with an M.
Yeah, he had lots of it. He gave it all away or threw it away because he said, if I don't want my son to play it, how can I watch other people's sons play it? I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm not quite that committed.
Well, that's it. That's the courage of his convictions and the commitment to them.
I don't do that.
Although hopefully now they'll have a little bit more awareness of this condition of the brain and maybe make some changes or change the rules and.
Don't know how.
I don't know how,
I hope you're right.
To make it so it's safer for the players going forwards, because a lot of them have already been affected.
Absolutely.
And you can't help them. Yeah. But maybe the younger generation, hopefully coming through.
Do something about it. I hope you're right.
At least with soccer, there's no contact.
No,
you get a little yellow card and off you go on the red card, and it's quite
if you find a football soccer player. If you find a guy 30 or over and you say to him, "Hey, how are your knees?" He will go,
"Ow."
He'll either go better, worse, or the same.
Yeah, he's probably off to see your guy.
Yeah, there's something wrong.
Yeah, I know. I think all professional sport leaves its mark eventually, doesn't it?
I think so too.
It's probably get in and get out.
Yeah,
make some money, enjoy it, and then leave, and then become a coach or a commentator, so you don't.
If you can,
bugger up your body.
Yeah, it does. It does. And as I say, just jogging. Got me a new hip and eventually knee.
Yeah.
So I wasn't good.
No. So when you listen to music, what kind of music do you particularly like? Good old fashioned rock and roll? What's your favourite? Do you have a number?
60s, 70s. Let's see. If I had to pick one song to take to a desert island, it would probably be... tell you two. I would pick... Layla by Derek and the Dominoes, Eric Clapton lead guitar. The Ann and Nancy Wilson.
Layla, is that it? La 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 la.
No, I think they do it in tune. But no, this is the fast. I think you were doing the acoustic version, which is awful and not particularly acoustic.
No.
But and the other one would be the version of Stairway to Heaven, not by Led Zeppelin, but by Ann and Nancy Wilson, which they did at the Kennedy Center.
Oh, okay.
Which is on YouTube too. If you listen, it is incredible.
Oh, okay.
They used to be they used to be the group Barracuda, but they have voices. Her voice, spectacular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. And anything else? Any other particular music or singers you like?
From the 60s, I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
a lot. Rascals.
Do you like any Australian bands in particular or music?
Yeah, I've got a few on my phone.
On that thing you use, you
on
hold
the thing,
it.
yeah, which
And you
apparently
speak into it.
Apparently you can make calls on it.
Hello, is anyone there? So is there any Australian?
Choir Boys, Angels.
Oh, yeah.
Who else? I don't think I know like any. I don't know any music now.
No,
but
no, it's
yeah,
all a
in
bit
those
much now.
the 70s and 80s bands of Australia were brilliant.
Yeah, and they had a lot of venues where they could go and hone their craft and work live and
Yep.
interact with the audiences and in these big sweaty venues, and a lot of them then has unfortunately closed down as the music industry has changed.
Cold Chisel was another one.
Oh,
Gee,
yeah, can't
whiz,
go.
were they good.
You can't go past Chisel, can you?
Nope.
And
Fantastic.
Barnsley, his
Yep, what a voice.
I mean, really. To not blow that voice out is a real gift, isn't it?
Yes.
It's just his natural voice.
Also like the doo-wop sound.
Like, as in do up, or is there a
In the
band?
still of the night, Earth Angel, the Ronettes, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. That sounds nice, isn't it?
No, it does not the way I sang it.
No,
Trust
no,
me.
I
Trust
was-
me, it's nice.
I was scanning my
You were
mind
nicer,
to think
yeah.
of what it was, but I just thought I'd be polite because you are a very special guest. So what's up for Peter Meisel for the rest of 2018? What do you think you're getting up to? Any mischief?
Well, a mischief. Today, I mean, I'm amazed because I didn't expect. I did Tonightly with Tom Ballard. I did a sketch with them.
So you're going to be on TV?
I will be on
On
TV.
a comedy
I
sketch
think next
show?
week. Well, it's not a comedy sketch show. It's like a news program. You see, like John Oliver kind of thing, except with sketches as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess more like the Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Okay. Well,
And
look
it's
out
very
for
good.
that.
He's very good. So that's on next week. But
You've done a bit of acting, haven't you?
a bit. Can I tell you my acting story?
Yeah.
This is for actors out there who get discouraged. This is why it's really not fair. If you people remember the 2000 movie, The Three Stooges, not the one in the 2013-14.
Yeah.
The 2000 movie, The Three Stooges. I had a role. I played Abe, the security guard. So what happened is I went to the audition, not to play Abe, but to just have a one-word audition where I had to say the word no.
Yeah.
So I started to talk. They usually doesn't have it. But they have the director there. His name is Matthew Frawley. He's since won an Emmy. And we're talking. We're just talking. Most directors don't go to the auditions. But we're just talking, blah, blah, blah. Turns out he's from Manhattan. I'm from Manhattan. What street? He's in the 40s. I live in 20th. I grew up there. He goes, did you ever drink at Pete's Tavern? I go, yeah, I used to drink there all the time. He goes, and I did. He goes, oh, my dad used to own that. So I get home. My agent calls me. She goes, you didn't get it. You didn't get the role. Well, what she goes, you got a bigger role.
Oh.
So I got this role not because I can act, because who can tell anything from the word no?
No.
If it was an 8-line role, and you helped me rehearse it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're talking about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got the role not.
Yeah.
I got the role not because I can act, but because I have a drinking problem. I mean, if he had said, any of the pubs in the neighborhood would have gone, I drink there all the time. So some guy would have nailed the audition, nailed it, and not gotten it, and not known why.
No, because you were just it was who you knew, and it inebriated a lot of the time, but it made for a very good story, and he was probably delighted to speak to someone from the good old days.
Well, yeah. It wasn't. I've been back since. Pete's Tavern is where O. Henry, and I mentioned that in one of the booths. That's where O. Henry, the American short story writer, wrote "Gift of the Magi," and it's the one. If you remember Seinfeld, where Kramer goes in to talk to the guy, Jerry's accountant, who he thinks has ripped him off because he's on cocaine. That was I don't know, filmed in Pete's Tavern, but they showed the front of Pete's Tavern. It's famous. It's the longest running pub that was never closed. A lot of pubs are older, but they shut down during Prohibition. This one was a
wonderful
speakeasy.
history in the area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. And didn't you have a role in the film Moulin Rouge?
I think it was. I did. Did
you tell me once you stuck your head up someone's skirt or something?
I beg your pardon?
Was that you?
I don't believe so,
No.
Your Honor. Don't believe a word this woman is saying.
I thought you had
I
stuck
stuck
your...
my head up somebody's skirt.
In one of the Dancing Girl scenes that maybe I'm mixing that up with someone else, but there was a scene
Yes,
in the
kids,
Moulin
don't do
Rouge
drugs.
when they were dancing and someone had a skirt. I thought you said you had to stick your head up someone's skirt. But
No, I'm sure to remember this.
I'm sure,
No, that
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
happen. No, I don't think my scene is in. I've watched the movie. I think my scene was cut.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the other side of acting, isn't it? You can't always be sure of being in it.
Yeah, and
even if you were.
Because a lot of it is fast flashing of.
Yes.
And
yes.
I looked. I put it on. I couldn't find it.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Well, we hope to see you in something else again soon. Maybe.
Well, next week, as we
Apart from
previously
that,
discussed.
but I mean, it'd be nice to have you could be on Neighbours or something.
Yeah, I
as
have trouble. It would have to be. I have real trouble remembering because today's role, it was fairly long, and we had to do virtually line by line.
Oh, okay. And
Because
then
my memory has never been good,
No.
but it's still not.
That's it. Well, it is a skill and something that you develop as an actor. If you learn pages and pages of script every day, you would eventually learn how to do it. But why wait
Maybe.
that long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, do the people who listen to you, do they know what a talented actress you are?
No, but please tell them.
Sharon is a brilliant actress. Not only a brilliant actress, she's also has this absolute comedic flair. We did a couple shows for something called Dolphin Juice. I don't get it either.
No.
And you were just being funny and making the rest of us trying to act laugh.
Well, thank you so much, Peter. That's marvellous. Maybe
She's also, by the way, a great stand-up, but now that she's good, she doesn't do it very often.
No, but I'll be busier as time goes on this year.
Good.
And so, is there anything else you'd like to disclose to any of our listeners?
Not
really, no.
Not that I see I've bored you to tears.
No.
No, nothing particularly of no. Oh my God, we did my whole life in half an hour.
Well, no, we've been on for about 40 minutes now.
Oh, sorry,
So
my mistake. And here
I got
I
an
thought
extra 5 minutes out of you. Yes. Well,
your math is brilliant. It's not 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Well,
I got an extra
you were
5
a primary
minutes.
teacher, weren't you? You weren't a high school
Primary
maths
school teacher.
Primary school, and that's like you learn everything, bit of everything.
Yes, supposedly, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're teaching kids who know practically nothing.
Yeah.
By the way, I like to think, I hope this is true, that I was a far better teacher than a comic. And I'm still in touch with a lot of ex-pupils who are now, who are now in their 50s. I mean, some as young as, I think my youngest ones would be in their 30s. My oldest ones are in their 50s.
Goodness.
Some of them are grandparents, but I'm in touch with a lot of them, and that makes me feel pretty good.
Is that through social media and Facebook that you found that people were catching up with you or finding you, or did they find you at gigs?
They found me by calling, and at first calling, emails. Some I just stayed in touch with.
Yeah.
But a lot of them now, because they don't live nearby, so a lot of it is through Facebook. Some have come to gigs, and then they seem to stop speaking to me after that.
No.
Well, actually, it's not funny. It's unfunny that some of the worst gigs I've had have been with ex-pupils in the audience.
Oh, that's a shame. It's always
It
a
is a shame.
disappointment
It
when
is,
you
it
know
is, yeah.
you can kill sometimes,
Yeah,
and then someone's specifically there to see you, and you go,
Oh, my
dear,
God, yeah.
I'm usually better than this.
Yeah.
And you have some material about living in Australia and things. Is there anything you wanted to share about your observations of moving to Australia and what things are different than, when you were living in the US?
I still to this day don't know what kookaburras find so damn funny at 5:30 in the morning. That's a damn big one.
Yeah.
What else? No, I mean, it took me a long... And this is my fault. That's the other thing. I used to find Sydney, particularly, only Sydney, very unfriendly. I think over the last 5 years, 10 years, I don't know, it is now so friendly, courteous.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sydney's improved as a city. There are nice coffee shops, pubs, hotels.
The food's
like
pretty good too, isn't it?
The food is great.
You can get anything anywhere.
Yeah, just here tonight we
had a nice
good
New York slice.
style pizza. Yeah.
I think we had a nice New York style slice up in Oxford Street one night.
Is
after
that right?
a gig, After
I know the place. Yes, we did.
And you said this is like a New York slice.
Yeah, because you bought it by the slice. Yeah. A little cheesy for my taste because I always have less cheese, but still, very good. Very good.
Yeah. Well, do you ever make your own pizza at home?
No.
No, fair enough.
No, I don't do anything. Yeah.
Why bother?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, to thank you very much for coming on Shazza's Laughter Hour as my very special guest this week. I'd like to present you with this. I actually saved this from my last trip to the USA, which was in April 2017, and it's a fresh nap. Handy wipe.
Does it have instructions on the back?
It may have instructions,
You
and
didn't
you
even
may
look.
need them. But just because you are world famous for your naps and having a nap before a gig, which is usually a very good thing to do. Naps are very healthy for us.
Oh, man.
But that's from the US of A, and I found that, and I thought I've saved that for something special.
And this is it.
It's for you as a special thank you.
Have you said what it is?
It's a fresh nap, moist. What is it?
Towelette.
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 It's
And they do have instructions. Just
Does it?
tear open packet and use. Isn't that brilliant? But if you really don't know what to do with this, you're not going to be able to read these instructions anyway, are you?
Go back inside and put a towel over your head because you're not going to be able to cope with
Towelette, you need
anything.
about 50 of these.
Yeah. So that's a fresh nap. So you'll feel fresh after your
Your
nap,
nap.
and so will your hands.
Yes.
So that's sort of like
The
a
perfect
pun
package.
on words.
Yeah,
And
hilarious.
it's all the way from the suitcase, and it's been somewhere in a cupboard for about nearly a year. But it's from your home, your first home.
It may not be that fresh then. by
No,
this
but
stage.
you could wipe your shoes with it if you're stepping, some bird poo, or you could do something with it.
Well, that's very
Or just
creative.
use it in your act. Oh, hang
Yes.
on a minute. You do something like that in your nap.
I used to. I haven't in a
Your
long
act?
time.
No, well, that might,
Bring it back?
Bring it back. Bring
Yeah.
back one of the golden oldies.
They're
One of
all
your-
golden oldies now.
One of your classics.
Yes.
Your best of.
Right.
Peter Meisel's best of gold collection.
Yeah, people should call out,
Yeah. Please do that one. I have seen a comic with Zach Malsali one night. Someone was yelling out to a request for him
Yeah.
to do something, and and it's like the funniest thing. And it's not like he's doing a song or something. And he just started, "Oh, you want me to do that bit, do you?" And like the guy had already heard it many times.
Same. I remember his stuff in Moses was,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's it. So that's a little, very much.
Thank you
of
very
it.
much.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Shazza's Laughter Hour here at Radio Northern Beaches, 88.7, 90.3 FM, or you can tune in the live stream 6 to 7 p.m. on Thursdays, rnb.org.au, or you can download the app TuneIn Radio, just in case you miss out. And once again, a very special thank you to Peter Meisel, and let's give him a round of applause. Woo! For participating and telling us some very interesting things about his life and about the United States and Australia and his knee.
Right, hip.